Carnahan.
Here.
John Foreman.
Present.
Ralph Miller.
Present.
Colin Seaman.
Here.
Richard Sharp.
Here.
Julie Rivera Saxton. Randy Neiman.
Present.
I'm here. Jill Merch. Present. David Austin.
Present.
We have a quorum. We have a couple of presentation items to start the meeting that we are amending the agenda right on the fly here. We'll start with Bob at the census. So, if you're ready.
Frank is loading up a video. This is from the United States Census Department. Hopefully that works, since we tried to play it at Nerds.
Hey, it's Kelvin, and I'm here today to test your knowledge of my favorite thing, the 2020 census. Now, what's the 2020 census? Well, it's when the U.S. Census Bureau counts everyone who lives in the U.S. and its territories. First question. In what year was the first U.S. Census conducted? Was it 1720, 1850, or 1790? If you said 1790, then by George, I think you got it. And by George, I mean George Washington, who was president during the first census. Yeah, my jokes will get better. Maybe. The 2020 census begins in the spring of 2020. So, here's your next question. How often does the U.S. Census Bureau count the entire population of the country? Every year, every 5 years, or every 10 years? Here's a hint. I was still in diapers during the last count. No, not 5 years. You think I was in diapers at age 7? Very funny. The answer is every 10 years. By the way, that's why they call it the decennial census. Because you know, decennial literally means something that happens every 10 years. Okay, moving on. About how many people did the U.S. Census Bureau count in the U.S. in 2010? Was it about 209 million, 309 million, or 509 million? The answer is about 309 million. And, fun fact, of that number, 100 million lived in just 4 states: California, Florida, New York, and Texas. That's a lot of people. Okay, now listen carefully to this one. According to the U.S. Census Bureau information, what percentage of households in the U.S. had a computer at home in 2017? Keep in mind that smartphones count as computers. Was it about 50%, 70%, or 90%? And the Census Bureau's American Community Survey says about 90%. True or false? Census responses help inform how more than $675 billion in federal funds are spent in states and communities every year. Really? You think it's that much money every year? Well, yes it is! Ding, ding, ding! This money is used to help make schools, fire departments, and hospitals in your community. It helps build roads, it helps with housing, well, the point is, it does a lot of stuff. Oh, that sound means our time is up. Congratulations, you won an amazing prize. You won the chance to be counted in the upcoming census. What did you expect? A week off from school? You know what that's called. Spring break. Well, that's it for today. I've got to go. I'm late for gym class. Also, go home today and circle April 1st, 2020 on your calendar. April 1st, 2020 is also Census Day. It's a day to remind the grown-ups you live with to respond to the 2020 census. They can respond online, by phone, or by mail. It's easy. So when I ask if someone in your household completed the 2020 census, your answer should be yes.
Nice job, Bob. Good. And we also, anybody that has a business, we have posters there that we received a legacy grant, and we're printing those posters, and we're gonna have 25,000 placemats put in at least three of our major restaurants, and Lagoviota, who Therese is also on the committee, and she wants some too. So
Thank you, Bob.
feel free to take a poster if you want it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll turn it over to Chief Fisher.
Good evening, thank you for amending the meeting for us tonight. I'd like to introduce you to Addison Brown, her mother Tracy, and father Dan, right? I'm Stacy and Dan, I'm sorry. I even put Stacy. Addison started a program called Miles for Many Smiles, or Miles of Many Smiles. Addison started at a young age, and I'll let her tell you her story. But I was contacted by Stacy, her mom, last week. Addison wanted to provide our department with a smile bag. These bags are for all of the officers to have in their vehicles to assist us when we're dealing with young children where the police are involved in the incident. Council, I'd like to present to you Ms. Addison Brown.
I just wanted to thank you for letting me speak with you. From a young age, I've always wanted to help others, and I just moved close to here, but where I used to live, there was a girl, and I found out she was going to take me away from her parents. And that night, I was thinking, just laying in bed, how I would feel if my parents were getting taken away from me. And then I came up with like these bags that had like different toys or things that would make kids happy during one of the toughest times of their lives. And I first started off with little gift bags, and each one had like a toy depending on what age, a Kleenex, and I think a coloring book, and that was it. But each time I dropped off bags, more people wanted to donate. And each time it would get bigger and bigger, and the word would spread out more. And now I have drawstring bags that kids can put on their backs or walk around with, because I really thought that was important because some kids, if they're taken away from their parents, they have to go really fast and like grab all their stuff quickly, and they don't have anywhere to put their stuff. So I thought that bag would be good. And now each bag has ages our babies through teenagers. Each bag has a toy or dot coloring book. The dot coloring books are for like older kids or like teenagers. I have little toys. Kleenex, a book depending on what age, a dry erase board, marker, and a handwritten note by me or my little sister. Each note says like be kind or stay strong, or I have little, I'll draw like smiley faces or something. And I just want to give these bags to as many police departments as I want. And it doesn't even have to be Indiana, it could be all over. Like, I've had many people contact me in Illinois, Colorado, North Carolina, all over, and I've had many news contact me, and the word just keeps spreading.
Awesome.
That's wonderful.
That's sweet.
So,
That's wonderful.
I have a few questions for you. How do you raise money to supply those bags?
At first, my parents actually used their own money, and that's why they were like little gift bags.
That's a pretty good fundraising mechanism, but definitely one that is finite, so
Yes.
what do you do now for fundraising?
I have my own organization now, and I also have my own Facebook page, and I have my own website, and they can just go on the Facebook page, click the link to go onto my website, and they can donate from there.
Can you
My Facebook page is Miles of Many Smiles, and then
Everything's on there.
yes, everything's
the
on the
Facebook page.
website. And
There's a
What about
few
for some
ones.
of us who refuse to go on Facebook?
Well, if you wanted to go on CNN or any of those, everything's on there regardless. She has a P.O. Box, P.O. Box 72 in Lowell, Indiana, 46356. She has a P.O. Box as well.
Awesome.
And she has 10 departments currently carrying them, and she has 2 more coming on board.
Just today, she received 2 large boxes of donations in the mail from someone in
Illinois.
Rockford, Illinois.
Awesome.
With little stress balls,
Yeah.
Kleenex and things of that.
And then a CVS in Rhode Island heard her story and gave her a $150 gift card
Awesome.
for her to go towards that. And currently she's raised $3,000. That, and then the Lowell Rotary bought her 1,000 bags. But she even went ahead, so now her bags say smile, but as you guys know, China is where our bags come from, so they have a hold on it. So we we had to get these from Amazon to keep going, and our new bags are coming, so she goes, Mom, well, what if we see someone and they see the bag and it says smile? So now we're gonna be selling them for $10 and
Which
for,
makes 2 bags.
which makes 2 bags, cause these
Awesome.
bags are about $5 a bag. So she's gonna start selling
The
them.
Low Rotary has decided to help with selling those, through, festivals and things like that, and we're also gonna put them for sale on the website, so, yeah.
Joe, could you maybe take a picture of her in front of our logo and then put it in our newsletter, so everyone in town?
Another question is that the name of your organization, Miles with Many Smiles, so if somebody wants to donate a check or money?
Right now, we're working on getting
The 503C, we're filling out the paperwork right now with the
Okay.
accountants. So if they were going to write a check, it would be through Addison Brown. And
Okay.
then, if you follow the website, you can see all of the departments she uses. Just in
I have a feeling you guys are gonna need some accounting here very soon.
We are, so they have, but in less
That's
than
what we're
48
talking about
hours,
tonight.
in less than 48 hours, she's, dropped off 110 bags.
Holy
Just the last
smokes.
48 hours. She
Wow,
was at Highland and Cherville yesterday.
Yep.
And then she was here Saturday. And then Hammond is 80 bags that she's dropping off, and she's dropping off at Crown Point. So-
A business in Hammond has graciously offered to sponsor her bags for the entire department,
Yeah,
so
she received a
every police
$550 check
officer in
today.
Hammond
Just to
will
keep it
have smile
going.
bags.
And
Addison-
everything in this bag is brand new except the books. So if anyone wanted to donate books, like these look like brand new books, everything else she has in here is brand new. And
Where are you storing everything?
Or basement.
in my basement right now.
We
So,
found a
but
couple
like,
of
she's
basements
had,
last
she said no, she didn't like some of these, so she even went out and picked specific dry erase boards. And she doesn't get to see these being handed out, but when she goes back, she replenishes, so once she drops them off, she's not done. She'll keep coming back when they're used, and she's heard stories.
I've heard stories about how a child was in a car crash with their parents. The parents were hurt, but the child was fine, and the police officer actually used the dry erase board to color or draw stuff with the child. And then I heard also one time police officers were taking a child's parents away, and the police officer colored with the child to build a
Because
relationship.
they're looked at sometimes not nice, because they don't understand. Right.
Well, I do have one question. Were you named after the Chicago Cubs or a street nearby?
I don't know.
That'd probably be him.
If so, we like you even better.
Addison,
Yeah.
thank you for your efforts in trying to help people. I know John knows who this guy is, but Zig Ziglar always said a line, he's a famous sales guru, that you can have whatever you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. So I think that's a great lesson for all of us to take forward in service. And you taught us all something today about giving back, so congratulations to you, and we look forward to supporting your efforts going forward.
What's your motto?
Kindness is contagious.
let's give her a big round of applause.
On the right-hand side, at the top of the website is the donate section, if anybody wants to donate, correct, and it's up and running good.
Oh, it's fine,
Yeah, it'll link you to her GoFundMe, and there's also
P.O. box.
information for the P.O. box.
Amazing, amazing.
So, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to take some pictures, maybe the council or the police president in it as well.
You want our ugly ones in this?
I say let her and her mom and dad.
You guys
Yeah.
want-
No, it's all her.
It's all right.
I don't want to.
Come on, I'll get somebody to take the picture. Chief,
I guess they're going up there, John, so. Come on,
come on.
you're part of the team.
Thank you.
Are we coming down to that?
Come on down.
You'll have to get an awfully wide angle.
That's okay.
We won't bite.
All right, you guys better come down now. All right, Bob.
Come on.
All right, cheese. Okay, got 4 of them. Anyone else?
Hey, what grade
I
are
can
you in
send it to
again?
you.
6.
Oh, very good. Wow.
What school are you going to?
Blue Middle School.
And watch, because if she hears that you guys are doing the fundraiser. She raised $5,000 for a local fire department when they needed a memorial for firemen, and she raised $6,200 for 2 police departments to get canines.
We'll donate some
Thank you for
smoothies to
letting
that
us
cause
help.
for the
Thank
police
you.
officers. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for letting us come.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming down, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Doing it. Did you get a hug?
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks, Jill.
That's all our money, because we used to help with the soup kitchen where we were from, shooting the ads for them. So thank you. Hey there. Hey there, thank you. Sorry, guys. Thank you.
Truly inspirational. We will have public comment on agenda items. Is there public comment on agenda items? Third call, public comment on agenda items. Public comment is closed. We have our consent agenda, which is the minutes of the February 4th, 2020 meeting. Claims, which are all town funds, $193,835.60. Wastewater operating, $108,613.64. Water utility, $31,535.09. Stormwater, $24,636.37. And payroll for February 6, 2020, $237,971.94. We have our manual journal entries for January 1 through 31, 2020. Clubhouse use and waiver fee for the teenagers for 6/16, 7/21, and 8/17. Use of town hall for the Board of Elections for May 5th, 2020, from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. Is there a motion to accept and waive the reading of the minutes and accept the consent agenda as listed?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sharp, second by Mr. Foreman. Any questions or discussion?
That 6 PM, that probably should be later than that, because they close at 6 and then they gotta tally up.
If that's the request they sent us, though, then that's what we will
We're not gonna
consider.
chase them out,
I don't think so. We never have.
no.
Any other questions or discussion? Roll call vote.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheeman?
Yes.
Richard Sharp?
Yes.
Randy Neiman?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. Item 1, we have BZA special use variance. Lawrence Turnquist, owner. And please help me with the last name, Joe
Kojan.
Kojan,
See it silent.
petitioner. 10501 West 133rd Avenue. Mr. Austin?
This gentleman has a very successful industrial business in our town, and it's growing. He wants to move next door or down the street in the same industrial park to a larger building. But this required about 10 seconds of time at the BZA. We're happy to see it, happy to hear it, and unanimously certified favorable recommendation. Bob, you didn't hear anything negative, did you?
No, and his business is growing and.
Which business is it, Joe?
It's EnviroFab, it's a metal
Okay.
fabrication
Yep.
business back there.
Yeah, it's a very nice business. It's got a great patch up.
Okay, we have a favorable recommendation.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the BZA's recommendation.
I'll second.
There's a motion by Mr. Foreman, second by Mr. Carnahan. Are there questions or discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man, it threw me. Ralph said yes. Randy Neiman? Richard?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh, we're all losing. Oh, it's
Yeah, we're
all
going in the
losing.
wrong order.
Colleen?
Yes.
I'm forgetting Colleen. I'm sorry. Wow, that totally threw me.
Good job, good job.
What happened here? Oh, we had Greg Parker in here. Fantastic. Okay, I see why you were looking. It's okay to laugh.
That's all I can do is laugh at myself.
Thank you, congratulations, and good luck in your
Yeah.
expansion.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Awesome.
Appreciate it, thanks.
Very good.
Thanks for coming.
We have one item under new business, which is a tourism fund request. The town gets $4,725 allocated to us per year. And we have 3 people requesting the Summerfest, the Cedar Lake Historical Association, and the Cedar Lake Farmers Market.
I would like to make a motion to defer this until the next meeting due to the fact that we don't know that the farmer's market is tax exempt, and we don't know if it's permitted for a private that makes money to be considered for this.
So motion to defer by Mr. Carnahan. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Miller. Any questions or discussion?
I have a question, Mr. President. Would you guys be willing to make it contingent upon them being allowed to accept it?
John, I think that we would be better off to know what we have, so we can decide how we want to divvy the money up. You know, I think we need to know, I agree with Bob, you know, if they're a for-profit and they don't qualify, let's just put it on the back burner for another 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yeah.
Makes sense.
Any other questions or discussion? Roll call.
Robert Carnahan?
Yes.
John Foreman?
Yes.
Ralph Miller?
Yes.
Colleen Scheedman? Yes. Richard Turk?
Yes.
Randy Neiman?
Yes. Motion carries 6-0. We now move to reports. Town council reports. We have street committee.
We had a meeting a few weeks ago, and we kind of hashed it out at the last meeting, and just this week, based on the people that came to the last couple of meetings, I've been talking to Mr. Kubiak about what it is that we could do now that we're starting to experience an early thaw with some of the folks that were here from over behind the old bakery there off of US 40, or yeah, US 41. So short term, he's working on that, as well as our list. Don is compiling the street list with priorities based off of what we covered the last time, so we should have that for distribution, Jill, probably the next meeting?
I would stay close to the next meeting.
One item for the street committee is we met with the folks from Jane Ball last year about sidewalks, and I think that's a good item that maybe in your next committee meeting is to invite in Mr. Eckert as well as our engineer to look at an opportunity to do a small project with the children from Jane Ball, as we said we would.
Sure.
So we make sure we follow through on that this year and get something in the planning stages right away.
Good idea.
We have something in here in our packet from Dr. McDermott.
It's on the schedule.
Yeah, it's on the last page of the agenda here.
Keep on looking on the
Under
schedule.
written communication.
Okay, I see it.
Yep, it's there.
I thought that wasn't on there.
We haven't forgot, Bob.
Okay, good.
I have an item to report on. Rick as the utility board chairman and myself as town council president, and Dave, our town attorney, we met with officials from the Hanover School Corporation. Was it a week and a half? Yeah, almost 2 weeks ago. And there was the school corporation attorney, their business manager, superintendent, as well as school board members Cowder and Wilkening, to talk about their expansion proposals pending the results of the referendum coming up in May. And it was a very productive meeting. The town presented our ordinance, which we adopted back in, I believe it was 2013, of the graduated building permit scale based on size of permit. And that was well received. I believe we're the only community that does anything like that. Most people give no discounts whatsoever. So it was a very productive conversation. There was talk of how the process will go as it relates to annexation of the properties that the school owns that aren't currently in the town of Cedar Lake. Utility extensions, whose responsibility it's gonna be for the building of the utility lines, the installing of the mains, and just kind of getting them prepared for the process. So once the, hopefully if the referendum is approved, that there will be a smooth process for the school corporation to begin their projects and be able to house children within a short amount of time in their new buildings. So it's a very good meeting. Any other town council reports?
I would just report that, I met with, the Cedar Lake Enhancement Association a few weeks ago. They're working on getting, and it sounds like they secured the ability to get an old steamship to come to Cedar Lake for the summer. And then I heard that on Sunday, I ran into Don King, he's on the board at the yacht club, they're gonna house the boat there at the yacht club, so that's a pretty neat thing.
Cool.
They're getting it out of Southwest Michigan or possibly out of, Elkhart, Indiana area, I can't remember, but, sounds like a pretty, cool adventure
Awesome. Yeah.
to bring back a little bit of old history to this town, so, quite cool.
If I also met with their captain, and we talked about the lake and the different depths and all of that. And Diane gave me a depth map and all of that. We went over that with them. And they're also planning on having lunches on their steamboat rides. And they were talking to the different restaurants about providing some meals, so.
Cool. Any other town council?
The chamber is going to have a luncheon on February 27th at Great Oaks. And I tried to find my newsletter there, but I believe it's going to be the superintendent's going to talk on the referendum.
Very good.
And $15. Welcome on the 27th.
Any other council reports? Town attorney?
We're working on the strategic objectives, assignments that we have, and we'll be providing periodic reports to you on our activities and progress.
Thank you. Clerk treasurer?
Still finishing up my annual financial report and all my other annual reports due to various entities we received money from. And following up with the financial consultant on various projects.
Thank you. Town administrator?
Council, at the next 16+ meeting, the mandatory community development block grant meeting, conducted by Lake County Economic Development Department. The mandatory meeting will be February 28th in Sherrill Hall at 9 a.m. I will be attending, as well as my assistant Sarah will have, if Jen's available, she'll attend as well. That's so we can still participate and receive community development block grant money.
Okay.
And working on coordinating many strategic. and
Yeah, we have a lot of
committee-
communication going on about getting committee meetings going, so we can start reaching our goals to get the job done this year. Tim, anything else?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Fisher?
Nothing today, sir. The next meeting, I will have the end of the year report for 2019 from the police department to present to the council.
Mr. Wilkening?
No, fine.
Written communications.
In your packet is the building department report. In January, we had 7 new home permits with a value of just under $1.1 million and 31 alteration permits with values of $454,000.
We also have written communication from Dr. Terry McDermott.
I see he's in the audience, would we want to have him come up and see if he wanted to
Would
say?
you care to say a few words about your written communication to us, Doc?
Sure.
Would you come on up forward, front and center?
Come on up,
While he's walking up, Mr. President, he was at the planning commission as well, he references that in his letter, and I think it was fairly unanimous in agreement that moving forward with the improvement of the ingress alley would be a good thing.
And I promise, speaking with us is less painful than one of your fillings.
Depends on what side of the fence you're on.
I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
That's a good one. Granny's getting good.
Yeah. this is
The floor is
scary
yours,
for me,
sir.
so. Well, I don't know if you had a chance to look it over, but
Yeah.
it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
I'll field any questions, or if anybody has any questions, or.
So what you're trying to do is get an alleyway, kind of turned over to the town. And, it's been an alleyway, going way back to, you had a date on there and.
Well, I mean, forever. I mean,
Yeah.
the buildings were built in the 50s, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is Kevin Toth, for you that don't know
Yeah,
Kevin.
yeah.
I think probably most of you do. He's the trustee, Hanover Township trustee, and he's in agreement. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's never been legally an alley.
And we're looking at trying to bring the traffic in off of 133rd and head south down the alley and make it a one-way.
I haven't.
That's the
If
discussion.
that's what the town is thinking, I mean, I'm not opposed to however you want to handle the traffic. I don't have an opinion one way or the other. I think that would work fine. Yes.
The thing we were exploring though is that if you looked at the, I don't know if you gave them the map of it, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
all
got it all in.
Yeah.
The thing is, there's two parcels in there that belong to Cedar Lake Ventures LLC. And in fact, actually, one of them, if you know, a parking lot where it is, right where the current alley sits, well, the end of that parking lot is actually, or end of that alley, current alley is actually Cedar Lake Ventures LLC property. That there's a 10-foot by about 60-foot section there, and there's actually two parcels. There's one behind Doc's building there too that is also owned. So we were kind of just concerned that because Cedar Lake Ventures LLC owns them, and we don't see anything that the town has any right of way from or anything for that alleyway, that we would like to maybe try to get those parcels or get them. They're useless parcels, they're basically worthless. I mean, I have made 2 attempts through our attorney to contact Cedar Lake Ventures LLC, and they have not responded about even just if they could turn them over to us or something. So that's kind of where
We
we're
have
at.
contacts here as well, and I believe we'll be reaching out to them, is that correct? To see if there's an opportunity to acquire those parcels. Is that right, Mr. Rossi?
I'm shocked by that comment.
That they didn't return
I didn't
correspondence?
get a response.
So that's something you can do then, Joe?
There's history there, but you know what, we can overcome that stuff.
Well, we tried for our attorney twice, and he actually was, our attorney actually was the guy that did the Anytime Fitness with them, went through that with them, so they have a history, and they're still not even returning his emails, so.
We'll figure it out.
That's why we figured we'd come to you guys and see if there's anything you could do to push this along or get it going, so.
After reading this, we will be moving forward with attempting to acquire this. To make it an official alley, and working with all the property owners to make sure that it's something that's usable.
I know Dick's on board, and
Yeah.
the Kudiak property already is owned by the town. And I've just recently talked to Denise, who's gonna be running the Dock restaurant. She just didn't know much about it, but
Okay.
she was gonna ask me to talk to her.
Our attorney and our administrator have been directed to move forward with reaching out to people so we can get this thing done.
Okay, good, great, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the letter and the time you took
Yeah.
from this one.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And thanks for putting up with my terrible humor. Appreciate it.
I'm used to it. Thank you.
We have open public comment now. Is there any public comment? Anyone? Ma'am,
As long as I came here.
you can stand back there, just your name and address for the record.
Okay. Lucy Griffin, 13704 Birch Street. My street's a mess. I've been putting concrete in the holes myself. And I'm just so disgusted with my street. And I'm waiting for it to blow up with the gas lines not good there. When are you gonna fix my street?
You know, in about 2 weeks, I'll have a better answer for you, because we have a road committee, and we are trying to prioritize and review, based off of Pazer.
Cause I know Lauderman is a bad street too, coming around the lake is so bad, it's so bumpy. You know, that street is falling apart,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it's a very busy street.
You came here last year once as well,
I
didn't
come
you?
here quite often,
Yeah,
yes.
a couple times a year.
Now I
I
wanna
think.
tell you something, you wasted the federal money on that stupid roundabout, it's too narrow. How is a boat gonna get around it? How is,
It's going to improve.
it's gotta be widened.
It will be, when we put the top coat on it, you'll be able to use the curb, part of the curb there, it's going to be 19 feet wide.
It still isn't wide enough, let me tell you, what are you gonna do when you bring your steamboat in?
We were told by our engineers that it would accommodate that.
I don't know, who's the engineer on that job?
Indiana Department of Transportation.
I
They
followed a
did-
53-foot semi through there, they went right around, no problem.
And there's a video with the fire truck going through it online too.
Man, did it go on the sidewalk?
No,
Well, it's such a narrow, I mean, the ones up north, if you ever been in any up north, I mean, I was up near Galena, they got roundabouts up there, they're big roundabouts.
We had a very small space to work with the homes and properties around there.
Well, that's
So-
why you shouldn't have wasted the money on that, it was fine the way it was.
I mean, it wasn't fine, ma'am. There was
Where,
some major
where is the
traffic jam.
walking tracks, where people are gonna get run over if they decide to walk around the roundabout?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. But make sure my street gets fixed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Final call? Public comment is closed. Our next town council public meeting will be Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020 at 7 PM. And then we will have another utility board and council meeting on March 17th.
So, Mr. President, before you adjourn the meeting, regarding the roundabout area, would the council be okay if I asked Jill to ask our town engineer just to check the degrees of the ingress egress on the Italian Outpost restaurant? There's been some discussion that they felt as though that was not at the right pitch. And it was designed and signed off by the state of Indiana. It would be a simple measurement, but I was asked this week, I forgot about that.
We have that information from the structure.
So what was built matches what was designed?
Yeah, and they did verify that. I can have Todd get that information for you.
Oh, that'd be good, that'd be great, just so I can get it to the person's
Set up
hand.
things again.
Oh,
The
perfect.
property owner as well.
Yeah, the property owner.
We do have it.
Okay, good.
I
All
talked to him a couple weeks ago.
right, yeah, it's, then I wasn't aware of it. That's
Thanks,
all I
John.
have.
Yep. This meeting is adjourned.
That was pretty easy. I don't know why I've been worried about it.
I wasn't either, but I was thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
You could just.
You just never know.